Welcome to State of Addiction. I'm Stefan Dingle. From Louisville Metro to the mountains of eastern Kentucky, the opioid epidemic impacts every community. Over the next 30 minutes, we refocus the fight against the crisis as we examine the efforts being made to combat the epidemic and look at a new threat. One area hit especially hard, Floyd County, Kentucky, where, in the words of the county attorney, an entire generation has been lost to the opioid epidemic.
We've heard the expression, it's an uphill battle. Here in eastern Kentucky, because of geography and the size of the problem, it's more of an up mountain battle.
There is some days that you're like, Lord, give me strength because I'm not going to make it today.
Upbeat, but oftentimes tired, Annette Flannery is always on the go.
How old's your youngest grandchild right now?
5 months.
She and her husband are raising their grandchildren.
I'm still in my 50s and I'm still carrying a diaper bag, is how I feel. You know, but I enjoy it, and there's nothing that I, regret or that I wouldn't do for my grandchildren.
While impressive, here, her story is not unique.
There are more grandparents raising kids today than there are parents. And even worse than that, I think, is that not only are the grandparents doing all the work, because parents are all drug addicts or dead or in jail, but those kids, they almost don't have a chance.
Keith Bartley is the Floyd County attorney. He's among the many, like Annette, fighting to make sure kids here have a chance. But the odds aren't easy to overcome. And the spike in the opioid use in the county is only making it more difficult. Bartley says 98% of the people in Floyd County's overcrowded jail are linked to opioids in some way or another.
When I started prosecuting, I was the youngest prosecutor in Kentucky, the youngest county attorney in Kentucky. And we do 450 DUI cases a year in Floyd County. 90% of those were alcohol related. Today, 22 years later, we do 600 of those a year, and 90% of them are pill related.
The gutting effect of the opioid epidemic has devastated Floyd County. According to documents from Kentucky's Attorney General, the number of opiates prescribed here could supply every man, woman, and child with more than 400 pills. As a result, county leaders say there are now traces of opioids showing up in the water system.
You take a generation of people who were just going to be vibrant members of their community, their churches, they're going to be workers or civic leaders, gone. And I mean gone. They're dead. Or their lives are so destroyed they can't come back.
The county is putting up a fight. This is a recently opened state-of-the-art rehabilitation facility. It serves 5 eastern Kentucky counties.
Our old residential facility was...
Director Christy Hicks and County Judge Executive Ben Hale are well aware more is needed. More beds, more money, more transitional living facilities.
Knowing that there's somebody out there that is not going to make that call to come into treatment because of funding. Make the call anyway. We'll try every way in the world we can to help you get into treatment.
Even with the all-hands-on-deck effort, the problems here are compounding. Last year, the Centers for Disease Control identified 220 counties in America that are on the verge of an HIV and hepatitis C outbreak. Of those 220 counties, 54 are right here in Kentucky, most of them in the mountains of eastern Kentucky.
That is going to happen if you've had that much addiction and you had that much use through intravenous. You're seeing it already.
The county recently opened a needle exchange to help curb those numbers and head off a full-on outbreak. As Judge Executive, it's Ben Hale who decides where the limited funds go. He says the fight has to continue by any means necessary.
You don't give up on our people, and we got to try to do whatever we can to get us back into a good, healthy shape.
What's clear, getting back to a healthy state is no easy task. Keith Bartley, the county attorney, says an entire generation has already been lost, which he adds puts added pressure and unfair stress on the next generation.
One of the hardest things in the world for a child to do is to grow up and be different than what they've learned. It is so impressive when you see a child that came from 2 drug addicts to grow up and be different, to grow up and be productive, grow up and be a professional. I love it when I see that, but that's a damn small percentage, brother.
A small percentage now, but perhaps not for long. Donna Robinson is the principal at Floyd County's John M. Stumbo Elementary School, a school situated right in the heart of the opioid fight. It's overcome with poverty, but not overwhelmed by it.
Our faculty and staff and students know that there's no excuses. We have high expectations for all kids, and we hold those expectations for ourselves as well.
Although nearly all of the students here receive free or reduced lunch, students are excelling in ways thought impossible just a decade ago.
11 years ago, we were in the bottom 10 of 730-some schools, or 770-some schools in the state of Kentucky.
Awesome!
And within the last 7 or 8 years, we've been able to move from low performing, low progress, to a school distinction, which is the highest classification in the state of Kentucky, to actually the number one school in the state of Kentucky.
Despite the poverty, despite the struggles of addiction, the students here are thriving. And Robinson says much of that is credited to grandparents raising their grandkids. Grandparents who are at the school every day, participating, engaging, and sharing experiences.
We have like a little group that, you know, all the children are involved in sports and academics, and, you know, we all kind of group together at the ball games or meets or whatever. And we talk about how different things has changed. And then you had the, you know, support of the school too.
It's not always perfect, but when they know that we seriously mean whatever it takes and no excuses, and we'll do whatever we can for their kids, they're willing to help us. And that's an important factor, is to have them involved.
For State of Addiction, I'm Eric King.
From the mountains of eastern Kentucky to Louisville Metro, fighting the opioid epidemic is a top priority. Louisville has a new plan in place to fight the stigma associated with addiction. The 2-year plan looks at ways the community can work together to address substance abuse.
I found myself in a very dark place, and I did not see a way out.
For Jenny Meredith, abusing drugs and alcohol started when she was a teen.
It all started out with a party, you know, upper middle class, hang out with all private school kids, and of course we all started with alcohol.
Meredith suffered from substance abuse disorder. She became dependent on drugs to get through the day.
My brain chemicals changed to where I didn't want to eat unless I got high. I didn't want to go to the movies unless we got high, and then, you know, everything started to change.
She began abusing anti-anxiety medication while enrolled at the University of Louisville, taking pills while trying to pass her classes. Eventually, she turned to cocaine.
I hated myself. You know, I lost all self-respect. I had no integrity. I had no ambition, and I just knew I could not live like that one more day.
With the help and support of her family, Meredith enrolled in a treatment center in South Florida. When she came back to Louisville after several years, she was clean and sober, ready to live a different lifestyle.
And it wasn't until, you know, I found recovery that I even knew that there was hope and that there were all these other similar people.
Meredith got involved with the Louisville chapter of Young People in Recovery, a national nonprofit working for better recovery and support services in communities.
We don't give up hope. As long as somebody's breathing, there is hope for recovery. And I honestly believe that.
Young People in Recovery is also part of the city's new plan to tackle substance abuse and misuse. Coming Together for Hope, Healing, and Recovery is a 2-year plan with 10 goals to address the root causes of addiction in the metro.
It's a beautiful, beautiful cycle of just one person helping another.
According to the city's plan, in 2016, Metro EMS crews responded to overdose runs in every single zip code. One goal of the plan is to make recovery an option for everyone. The group Meredith is involved with is one of 16 outlined in the plan working to do just that.
You know, a lot of people in recovery have received this passion of, how can I help you? Because somebody helped us. That's just the way that it works.
Young People in Recovery helps members work on resumes, find employment, and thrive in the community. They have cookouts and get-togethers, showing how a sober lifestyle is the best option of all.
And a lot of the young people in recovery members are my best friends now. You know, we have Friendsgivings, and, you know, we all go to comedy shows together, and we hold each other accountable.
For State of Addiction, I'm Emily Maha.
The drug epidemic may be fueled by heroin and opioids, but another drug is making a resurgence.
It can be extremely deadly, and it just ravishes lives.
The sophisticated criminal organizations flooding our communities with drugs. That's just ahead on State of Addiction, refocusing the fight.